Hi and welcome to my fourth video log on sprint drills. The focus of this vlog will be to outline the technical model of the A-skip and its use in developing sprint mechanics and enhancing performance. So maximal velocity sprinting places a very high neuromuscular demand on the athlete and does require a high level of coordination of movement, especially appropriate sequencing of muscle activation through both upper and lower extremities. And the A-skip is a drill that is commonly used to develop sprint mechanics, and it can be implemented not only for track athletes but many other different sports too. So the drill is basically a rapid high knee lift, and the athlete should be forcefully flexing at the hip to lift the thigh, ideally above waistline. And just from this video here, it is clear that I am flexing at the hip enough. However, my heel recovery is not very good. This means that when my leg lands, it is actually in front of my hip, which will limit the amount of force I'm able to produce during sprinting. And flexing more at the knee would allow this heel to be closer to the buttocks, which again in turn would allow for a quicker heel recovery during sprinting. Here is a still image to show the difference between my range of hip and knee flexion. I need to work on relaxing the vastus muscles in the quadriceps to allow my heel to move further back. Also from this still image, my toes are dorsiflexed, which is good, so this creates a shorter lever between the knee and the toes, which will allow for a faster leg swing before making contact with the ground. A couple more aspects to look at in terms of the technical model would be that as I'm completing the drill, I tend to look down at my feet. I should be keeping a neutral cervical spine position with sort of eyes looking straight ahead. You can see also that an upright trunk position isn't always maintained during this drill, and if I was cued to keep my head up, this should help maintain a strong thoracic spine and prevent any forward lean. So looking at the A-skip from the front view here, it is obvious I'm having trouble maintaining stability at the ankle and foot, and you can see that my foot is starting to pronate, and the positions where I land do vary quite a lot. This excessive movement at the foot will reduce the efficiency of the foot strike during maximal velocity sprinting, but strengthening the deep foot flexors and extensors should help to correct this movement pattern. I've also highlighted my elbow here as it should be higher, and I do keep my arm quite close to my body. It should be slightly further away, and hand should be roughly sort of nose height, and flexing slightly at the shoulder should allow this to happen. If an athlete cannot demonstrate safe and corrective movements during the A-skip, regressions of the drill should be mastered first before progressing to the skip. The A-march is an example, and excluding arms can be used first to allow the athlete to understand the lower limb positions that they need to get into. From here, including the arms will increase the complexity of the drill further and demand more coordination from the athlete. Performing this standing on the spot is recommended first before including any forward movement into the drill. So another drill that can be used alongside A-skips is the wall drill here, where the athlete should focus on driving the knee high whilst maintaining an extended support leg and good core control. If an athlete is struggling to combine the whole movement of an A-skip, incorporating drills that focus on a particular phase of a sprint like this is beneficial. Trunk lean should be about 45 degrees, which from this image is clearly something that I do need to work on. Sitting too low during a A-skip is quite common, meaning the supporting leg is not in full extension. Therefore, performing this drill with an additional support from the wall can encourage an athlete to fully extend the weight-bearing leg rather than that leg being in flexion. So the A-skip can be used as a stability drill for the ankle, knee and hip, as they are required to be fully extended while supporting the body during the unilateral part of the movement. The A-skip can be adapted to focus on speed or tempo whilst maintaining good form over distance. However, ideally the short distances like shown in this video are better, as if an athlete has to reach a greater distance they will likely take larger steps, which negatively affects the centre of mass. Saying this, however, the movement demands of the A-skip are quite different to the actual sprinting technique when compared to sprint drills such as B-skips, which replicate the mechanics of sprinting more closely. For example, the angular patterns of the foot imitate sprinting a lot more closely than that of A-skips. So to conclude, it is evident that there are some key development points that I need to consider to improve my A-skip. And it is mostly, I believe, a skill constraint that I have, as I am very new to performing sprint drills rather than a capacity issue. So the A-skip is an effective sprint drill. However, a coach should look to address some of the key movement errors that are associated with the skip to ensure the athlete replicates the technical model as closely as possible.